There are three different forms of equations of lines: slope-intercept form, point-slope form, and standard form. In this video, we're going to focus on the slope-intercept form. This one is probably the most widely accepted and common form for an equation of a line. Y equals mx plus b. These lines will have a number, a coefficient before the x, and a number next to the x on the other side that's all by itself. Y will be isolated on one side of the equation. X will be on the other side of the equation. Let's practice using that form with some actual examples. Our first example asks us to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form with the given slope and the given y-intercept. Now, if you remember from step 12, the slope was the m, just like a ski slope. Looks like the letter M. And the y-intercept is the b in this formula. So whenever it asks for slope-intercept form, you're automatically going to start with y equals mx plus b. That is a slope-intercept form of this equation, but we need to make it more specific because we need to take out the slope and put in what the slope equals. What is the slope in this problem? They tell us right here the slope is 1/4. Then we need to take out the b and put in the b. That's it. We're finished with number 1. Y equals 1/4 x plus 3. That's the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. Let's try the next one. Y equals mx plus b. We're going to take out the m and replace it with the slope. Then for the y-intercept, we're going to take out the b and replace it with the y-intercept. But you know, you've seen enough of these videos to know that I can't stand when we have double signs. So instead, let's back up. We're going to put the slope in. But when I take out the b, I'm going to take the sign with it. And now I can just replace it with my y-intercept, with my b. We don't ever want to have double signs in our equation. This next one, y equals mx plus b. We take out the m and replace it with the m. They told us m equals 0. We take out the b and replace it with the b. But we could simplify this. What is 0 times x? It's just 0 plus 1. And we can simplify that further to be simply y equals 1 for our final answer. When you can simplify, it's always best to simplify. Finally, number 4, y equals mx plus b. Well, they tell me right here that m is negative 2.5. So I'm going to take out my m, and I'm going to put in negative 2.5. B, they don't say what the y-intercept is like they did in numbers 1 and 2. They don't tell me that b equals a certain number like they did in 3. Instead, they give me this ordered pair. What does this ordered pair look like if we were to look at it on a graph? Please, didn't want to do that with my highlighter. What does this look like on a graph? Where would we plot the point 0, 5? That's the point, right and left 0, up 5. That is a y-intercept. In other words, b equals 5. X is 0, y is 5. So that is the y-intercept. They actually gave it to us. They just kind of wrapped it up in a little package of this ordered pair, so it was harder to distinguish what that y-intercept was, but it's just 5. So our final answer, y is negative 2.5x plus 5. Sometimes we're going to be given a graph, and they want you to write the equation in slope-intercept form again for each graph shown. Whenever they tell you to write an equation in slope-intercept form, we are going to write y equals mx plus b. I'm going to do that for all of them actually because the instructions are the same for each graph. Y equals mx plus b. Next, I need to figure out what the slope is. When we have a picture, we can actually count the slope from one point to the next. I know that I need to rise 2 and run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is 2/5. The b, again, is the y-intercept. Slope-intercept means slope y-intercept. Where does this line cross the y-axis? Right here at the point 0, 2. So my b is 2. On number 6, the slope is rise 3, run 2. Rise over run, 3 over 2. So I put my slope of 3/2 in for m. My y-intercept, where does the line cross the y-axis? Again, right here, where b equals 3. Finally, on this next problem, I rise down, or I drop 2, so negative 2, and I run 3 to the right, positive 3. So my slope is negative 2/3. What's my y-intercept? It's right here at the point negative 2. If you were just given the 2 points, you could still accomplish this problem even if you didn't have a picture. Because remember, we can compute the slope from 2 points. So if I get rid of this picture for a moment, pretend they didn't give us a graph, they just gave us these 2 points. Just pretend for a minute. You don't have to erase it on your picture. I'll just erase it on mine. Pretend they just gave us 2 points. We don't have a picture to use. One option would be to get a graph and graph these 2 points. But if you recall, we can also circle the y's. 0, negative 2, negative 3, 0. I'm putting my y's together, then my x's. And when I simplify this, I get 2 over negative 3, which is the same thing as negative 2/3, which is the exact same thing I got when I looked at the whole graph initially. So you can calculate the slope, or you can just use the graph and count the slope, which is probably the easiest thing to do. That way you don't have to risk making an arithmetic error.